Hello everyone, this is Tasha van Zyl again. Welcome to video number 4, how to complete the QFFQ. We are only going to look at section 8A and section B in this video. So section A, we're looking at maize meal, cooked porridge and breakfast cereal. Section B will look at bread, sandwiches and spreads and fillings on bread. Okay, so your QFFQ, your 7-day QFFQ will follow after the 24-hour recall. And again, you will just have to add your participant number, your field worker number, your participant's age, and if it is a female, and the date of the interview. All right. So you can also remember to start your QFFQ with the introduction on which foods they ate for the last 7 days. So remember, it is for the last 7 days. How they were prepared, how much of the food you usually ate at a time, how many days did you eat the food for, and on the days you ate the food, how many times per day did you eat it. But as you go through your QFFQ, you will keep on repeating this and remind your participant on the period of food consumption. Okay, so there are some general questions in the beginning that you can just look at, such as what type of butter or margarine do you mostly use? For instance, say if they use soft margarine spread, you can mark that. And then what type of milk do you mostly use? Say for instance, full cream milk, mark that. And then if there is anything else, you can add that too. And then you just add, also have a question on, do you use iodized salt? Or did you use salt during the last 7 days? It was a yes. And then do you use iodized salt? Yes or no? Or if you don't know, then just choose the correct one. If it is a yes, then it is 1. And then at some vendors, they sell salt in small packages without brand name. So if you cannot identify the brand name, ask the participant where they purchased the salt. For instance, if you have a brand name, you can just add it there. So now we are going to move on to section A, which is the maize meal, the cooked porridge, and the breakfast cereals. So remember to start with your first question here. So did you consume maize meal in the last 7 days? So you ask yes or no. And if it was a yes, you will then proceed to the next section and the next items. So what type of porridge did they have? Say it was soft porridge that they eaten. And then how much do they usually consume? You can use, for instance, your oats within a bowl to measure the amount of maize porridge that is usually eaten, and say you've identified that it was a 300 ml of soft porridge that they've eaten. So how many times? So then we come to the times that it was eaten within the last week. Remember, in the last week. So you will go, okay, so I ate for 5 days soft porridge in the morning. So for the last, so it was porridge in the morning only. So that is once a day, 5 times this week that I've eaten. So do you put sugar on your maize porridge? A yes or a no? So if that is a yes, you move on to how much, and then say that was 3 heaped teaspoons. And then how often was that? So it was exactly with the breakfast once a day for the 5 days. That is how I ate it. Did you put milk on your maize meal porridge? Yes, I did. And what type of milk was that? That is full cream milk. And how much milk? So using your dietary assessment kit, you identify that it was a half a cup. And then how often? Exactly the same. I had that with my breakfast once a day, 5 times in that week. Do you add margarine or any other type of maize or fat with your maize meal porridge? So say that is a yes again. Then you move on to what type of margarine or fat, and that was so that was the tub margarine, which is Flora. And it was 1 teaspoon, 1 heaped teaspoon. And again, it was with the porridge in the morning 5 times a day. So the next section is on cooked porridge again. So you will ask, did you have any other cooked porridge, such as mabella, ting, oats, and so on? So if you answer yes, again, remember to answer the yes. If that was a no, make sure you indicate it is a no, and then you just move on to the next section. So you determine that the person had oats, and it was 200 milliliters of oats, and that was only 1 breakfast once a week. So indicate that. Did you put sugar with? Yes, I did. How much sugar? I still like the 3 heaped teaspoons. And that was also just once with the oats. Did you put milk in? Yes, it was the same full cream milk. How much milk? Can you find out? It's half a cup. And it was just once and once. Did you add any margarine? And that was a no. Did not add any margarine to that cooked porridge. So then you don't carry on with the rest of the question. Good. So for ready prepared porridge, did you have any of these? You say yes. I had Pro Nutro. It was prepared, and I used milk to prepare it with, and the prepared amount was 1 cup. And I had that only 1 breakfast once in this week. Did you have any breakfast cereal? So if this is a no, then you can just move on to the next section. So we get to section B, which is bread, sandwiches and spreads, fillings and bread. So the first question is, did you eat any bread or sandwiches during the last week, the last 7 days? And that is a yes. Was it white, brown, whole wheat? Make sure that it's really whole wheat. You can always ask to see the package if you want. And yes, the participant usually eats 2 slices of bread. And if you want to, you can even add it's Albany. Remember, this one is bought bread, 2 slices. Usually it is for lunch. It's once a day, and it's only in the week when the participant is at work, for instance. Other bought bread, here you can ask about the dumpies or any other specialized bread that can be added to this section, any other type of bought bread. And then the size of the bread, was it small, was it large? If you don't know, ask them to show you the package. And if it was a large bread, then you can just indicate it as such. Were there any homemade bread? Remember to also ask that. And then the next question after the slices is again, do you spread margarine or butter on your bread? Yes, I do. What type of margarine or butter? It was the Flora tub. So was it thinly spread, medium, thickly spread? So thickly spread. On how many slices did you spread the margarine? On 2 slices. Do you put anything else other than margarine or butter on the bread? Always. Which of the following do you put on your bread? Okay. So just here, just remember to add the how many times. Okay. So which of the following do you put on your bread? It's usually peanut butter, 20 grams, and usually put jam on, and this is spread thinly. And this is also, this is on 1 slice. And this is also on 1. And usually this is just in the afternoon, but only once a week. Walmart, medium spread. This is on 1 slice. And this is usually also once, but 2 times a week. And then also cheese. So it's usually a thin slice. And that's also just on 1 slice. And that is usually once a day, at least 3 times a week. Okay. And then you can move on to the next section. There are some more other spreads. Look at bunny chows, kotas, what Gatsby's, look at the fillings. So any of these that they specify this. So then just indicate you know, what type of bunny chow or what type of cotta it was. And then with the bread, what was in there, the chips in, say for instance, Vienna in, and how much was eaten. So it can either be a quarter loaf of bread, quantify the chips, and see if that, for instance, if they can identify that it is one, sorry, need to keep the writing correct. So 1 heaped serving spoon of chips, and maybe just 1 Vienna. And this would be then once in a week. Right. So the same, you'll do the same with the Gatsby. Also indicate the different ingredients below, quantify, and then add the number of times it was eaten per day and then per week as well. So yes, that is section A, and section B of the 7-day QFFQ. Please watch the next section, the next video for the next section that starts from section C. Thank you for watching. Bye.